Hey everyone, I'm Vanessa Cicero, and today we're going to go over 10 quick tips to help you get started in Lucidspark. For the first tip, we're going to go over navigating Lucidspark. So if you're using a trackpad, you're going to use a 2-finger slide to go left, right, up, and down. And then you're going to use a pinch to zoom in and out on the canvas. Now, if you're using a mouse, right-click and hold to drag left, right, up, and down on the canvas. And then use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. For tip 2, a quick, fast way to add stickies to the canvas, simply double-click, and you can add as many stickies onto the board as you would like. Tip 3, adding shapes to the canvas, drag them out from your toolbar on the left-hand side. Then you have your formatting toolbar to change the color, the outline, the line shapes for your edge of your shapes. What are those text features that you want for the text inside of your shape, and more. Also, if you change your mind on the shape, you can simply click on Change Object Shape, and then you can change it from your original shape to a secondary shape. Now that you have a shape on the canvas, simply click on it, drag out from the light blue circles to add a connecting line, and then select another shape from the shortcut menu. You can also drag out from anywhere on the outside edge of a shape to connect two existing shapes. Then use the toolbar to change the color, the look, the endpoints, and more. Now for tip 4, we're going to talk about locking. If you don't want students to manipulate something on the board, you can click on it. This works for shapes, text boxes, images, anything on the board, and you'll find a lock in that toolbar. Click on lock, and now you'll notice there is a red border keeping this from being manipulated. Now, let's say you want students to be able to edit the content, but not move things around. You can simply highlight all those objects, and then click on the 3 dots from the toolbar and come down to lock and unlock. This gives you additional locking features. So for this example, I'm going to lock by size and position, but I'm going to leave content open. So now when students come in here, you'll see the yellow dots, they're not able to move those, but they can double click here and add their content. Now for tip number 5, I highly suggest using frames paired with the table of contents to organize your content. Frames are very easy to add to the board. Simply click on the organizational panel from your toolbar on the left-hand side, come up to frames, and then you can click and drag to add a frame onto the canvas. You'll notice that you can also rename your frame. And then when you come down to the bottom right-hand corner, this is where you'll point students to help them navigate all of the different frames and activities on the board. They click on the table of contents, then they can click on the first frame, the second frame, the third frame, all the way through each of those different activities on your board. Tip number 6, once you've added frames to the board, you can also create learning paths, just like you've seen that I've done for this presentation. You'll notice that it opens up a panel so that you can move clearly through each of the frames in your path. To set one of these up, you simply come to the left-hand side, click on that organizational icon from your toolbar, and directly below frames are your paths. When you click on paths, you'll notice that you can create multiple paths, and then you'll get a link. And this is the link that you would send out specifically to your students to send them on a path. Just make sure that you've set the sharing permissions for the board to be open for edit, view only, whatever you want those permissions open. You do need to set those permissions for your board before you send out your path link. So I can hit create path. You can click on the different frames that you would like to add to your path. You can reorganize them as needed as well, and then you hit done. And then all you'll do is click on this link, and it will, when you send this out to students, they will automatically get a pop-up that says follow the path. When they click on follow the path, they will be directed to the first frame in that path, and now they have the handy dandy organizational pane at the bottom of their screen to help them navigate in a sequential order those different activities. Tip number 7, quick tools. So quick tools I have added to the left-hand side of my toolbar. If you're not finding these quick tool options, come down to more tools and you can add and select those from there. Now, quick tools allow you to add shortcuts to the different items that you want students to use for that activity. So for example, let's say I want students to use sticky notes. I could add a sticky note to the board. And let's say we're going to be adding specific sticky notes. I can double click in here and I can say that these are going to be connections and these are going to be questions. And then from here, I can even change the color of my sticky bank. So my connections are going to be yellow and my questions are going to be pink. So now when students come to this board, they can drag out specifically yellow sticky notes and pink sticky notes directly from your sticky note banks. Now, additionally, you'll notice you have sticker banks that you can add to the board, dot banks that you can add to the board, as well as a custom shape bank allowing you to add whatever you would like to that bank. So I could customize and add an image. Maybe we are doing math manipulatives and we're doing word problems related to apples. I might look up a cartoon apple, drag that onto the canvas, resize it, and then drag it into my custom shapes. Now, when students pull out the apple, they get as many apples as they would like from that custom shape bank. And then last but not least, in your quick tools, you'll notice that you have a couple different shortcuts. So let's say you want the students using the Loom integration to record video. You could drag the button onto the canvas to make it easier for them to access the Loom integration. Same thing, if you're going to be using the timer a lot, you could drag a button to the timer onto your canvas. So you'll notice that you have a lot of different tools. For example, let's say you want the students to easily access a highlighter when annotating a PDF. You could drag the highlighter onto the canvas. And then this will quickly, I can click on this, and then it's automatically activated that highlight tool for me to use. Tip 8. Now, let's say you just want to get a quick view of all of the content on your board. If you click on the percentage that you are zoomed in the bottom right-hand corner, and you click Zoom to Content, this will zoom out and show you all of the content you have on the board. This is great paired with the locking. So let's say I've put everything on the board and I don't want students to mess with anything already on the canvas. I can simply click and drag and lock all of the items on the canvas at one time. Tip number 9. Now, in order to get access to additional controls as the facilitator, I highly recommend making yourself the facilitator before sharing this board with students. Simply click in the upper right-hand corner next to the 3 people, come down to Make Me a Facilitator, and then come over to Controls. From here, I will turn on all of these controls, now giving me, the facilitator, additional control. Only I can manipulate these features. Also under Tools, during a live collaborative session, you can click on Take the Lead and it will forcibly call students to your view on the board. And then one other additional feature I'm going to call out from the 3 people in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice that there is an option to show cursors. This is something students need to do, and I show them this the very first time, and then they can self-regulate this moving forward. I highly recommend that students toggle off show cursors. This way they won't see other students' cursors moving throughout the board, which can be distracting. And then last but not least, sharing with students. There are a couple different ways that you can share with students. The first way is to share a collaborative link so all students can come into your board by clicking on that share button in the upper right-hand corner and then toggling on that share option. From here, you'll notice that you can share only inside your domain, so inside your district or institution, only logged in users. So this would allow anyone with a Lucid account outside of your institution to join your board. And anyone with the link is a good way to quickly share and not have students needing to log in. This is a good way to get it in the hands of students who might be in younger grades, where you want them to get in, but you don't want to have to worry about them logging in. Keep in mind, if you choose anyone with the link, their name will not come with them. So you won't see specifically who is doing what on the board. And then of course, you can also select for that link, do you want students to be able to edit and share, edit, comment, or view? If you're doing a collaborative experience, I recommend edit. This gives slightly less permissions for students. So edit is the recommend collaborative setting. And then all you have to do is click on copy link once you've made your settings, and you can paste that wherever you want for students to access your board. Secondly, if you would like to have students join from a mobile device like an iPad, I recommend using Enable the Join ID. And then when you click Enable Join ID, your board now has a Join ID. And if students have the Lucidspark app added to their mobile device, they can just go into the mobile device, and then easily from the mobile device, there is a section to join board with a Join ID. And then last but not least, managing your sharing permissions. Let's say you have a student on the board who is not following the rules. You can easily click on manage. You'll get a list of everybody who has joined the board, and you can revoke or edit their permissions.